Okay, Marcelo, I've had opportunity of living in other countries and staying away from Brazil for 15 years. So my personal experience living in America was very intense. And for throughout my stay in the United States, I've had opportunities of speaking to different Americans from different places. And there was something that was very common on their culture, which is a extreme ignorance in respect to other cultures and other countries. I can count on my fingers the number of Americans who knew that in Brazil we spoke Portuguese rather than Spanish, for instance. And it was very tough sometimes to be questioned about the things that we had access here in Brazil. They didn't know, for instance, if we had cars on the streets, if there were monkeys just jumping from building to building, just like Spider-Man or something. They had that idea of Brazil as being a big jungle. I know for a fact that you've been through some kind of stuff like that. So I would like you to tell us, audience, 5 minutes is for this, man, to get those very tricky questions from our participants. Now I want you, Marcelo, to tell us, what do you think about these kind of things, this sort of lack of knowledge about our culture and the things that go on in Brazil? I believe you must have very interesting stories to tell us, right?
Well, Paulo, I can tell you, I have very good stories, but I didn't spend that much time as you live in US. I spent only 3 years in the States.
That's enough.
But I've been traveling a lot,
sure,
so even though you got some
3 years is
tricky questions,
time,
and
sure.
It's true. I have passed for some very interesting experiences, and I'm gonna share with you now.
Oh, please.
And one thing that during this time I was living in US, one thing that was boring me is people coming after me and asking me, where are you from? And I say, well, I'm from Brazil. So, well, you don't look like Brazilian. And I used to question them, how Brazilian looks. And
what do you think Brazilians look like?
Yeah,
right.
That's the thing. And after that, they questioned me, well, you're from Brazil. I have a friend who lives in Buenos Aires.
Oh, man.
It seems to be a joke.
Are you
but
joking me?
It's real. It wasn't one or two person who questioned me about that or bring me this type of conversation.
Yes.
So then I realized it's real. People really think that we have a type of direct connection with Argentina. I don't know why, but they're really ignorant regarding geography or other matters outside of United States.
It's true.
But at one point, I get so mad out of this that I decided to prepare a PowerPoint at that time.
Okay.
And when I show something like, I started PowerPoint showing the Amazon River, the Army forces with the Jaguar,
okay.
Brazilian Jaguar.
Jaguars, okay.
I was showing the Carnival, the football field,
soccer playing,
and then I wrote something like, "This is the Brazil that you know."
Okay.
Then next slide, I was showing, now I'm gonna show you the Brazil that you don't know.
Cool.
Then I used to put some pictures like the big cities, the big industries in Brazil, people who lives here, and many different type of stuff, just to show them what we have down here.
Our own reality. Like
yes.
Buildings and things.
And what's interesting is that some people, they don't really believe they look.
They're like,
is it true?
What? Yes.
Is it Brazil? I didn't know that. And what's something,
it's funny.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, perhaps 25 years ago, we could understand that because there is no internet. So unless you travel to those countries in America, you wouldn't know about these things, right? But nowadays, with the World Wide Web, with internet, you can access anything in life, anything you want, you can possibly imagine, it's right there. People not knowing how Brazil looks like, not having a minimum clue about things like this.
Yeah, I believe internet made some shortcuts because it makes it easy for people to see I go to Bangladesh and I go through the streets using the Google Maps,
Right.
and you can see what they have over there.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's but
But
first
it's
of
not
all,
enough.
you have to be interested.
That is right.
If you are not interested in the country, why
Forget
are you
it.
gonna learn something about?
And Americans are not interested.
Yes, because they are most interested in themselves.
Right.
It's
It's
true.
true. It's true.
But one point is that the impression we also have some this type of impression or stereotype from
Stereotypes
other
about
countries.
other countries.
For
Right.
example, if I talk about Zambia, what do you think about Zambia? Maybe the
Yeah,
jungle,
that is
the
true.
lion,
That's
the
true.
giraffes, and so that's something that we stereotype among some
that's right.
different cultures.
That is
but
right.
because that's what we get from the media, there's no interest. It seems like there's no interest from some source of media showing what the countries really have
it
to
really
show,
is.
how they live,
Sure.
what the beauties you can find in that country.
It
and
is
so
true.
we create this stereotype of different cultures.
It's true.
And the same thing about America. America, even the media used to say, we are the best, and
Sure.
look
Always
what
like
they have
Always been like
the
that.
worst.
Right.
And one thing, they also have many problems that we have here. But maybe they don't have the good things that we have
That is true.
here.
That is true.
And it's amazing when you get foreign people here and they get amazed with Brazil. They look Brazil, they look around and say, wow.
What the hell is that? Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
think it
I
was
was not
like that.
expecting this.
wasn't-
Sometimes
right.
people come here. It was many years ago, but a couple guys from Canada. They came to Curitiba,
visit
and I
here.
host them here in my place.
That's great.
And it was interesting that those guys, they knew nothing about Brazil, about
No clue at
Curitiba,
all.
no clue at all. And they sent me a message asking me, questioning me if when they arrive here in
Right.
Curitiba, if they would be able to buy a gallon of potable water.
Right, right.
And I said,
right,
hey,
right.
man,
Come on,
you have
man.
no idea where you're
What
coming.
was expecting you.
Yes.
And then what was their reaction when they came here, they first stepped in Brazil and they looked around and saw what was going on? What was their main reaction?
By the plane.
In
They
the
were,
plane.
yeah,
They
they
looked down.
were telling me that they were in the plane and they said,
Man, what the hell?
wow, it's completely different what
Than
we
what I
were
thought.
expecting. So
Sure.
that was a surprise from them. And I tell you more. Before they come to Brazil, they went to a doctor. They visited a doctor.
Yes.
And they brought different type of medicines to take pills every day to protect them among
from all sorts of
different
mosquitoes,
source of
bites,
yes,
and whatever.
And that's amazing.
Amazing.
And,
It's
and
amazing.
I bought a lot of fresh fruits and prepared all sort of good food for them. And they only wanted to eat how they say the canned food or
Canned food, yes.
And this the water, even though you have
have
the
the
bottled
water
water, they need to boil the water
Oh,
instead.
man. So probably they were advised back home that
Yeah,
in Brazil
yeah.
they would
They're
have
so scared.
problems with
They were
the
so
water and all.
scared.
Right, man. And again, we could spend hours speaking about our experiences all around the world, and especially these tricky things that happen with us. We can't avoid those things. But 5 minutes is 5 minutes, unfortunately. So that's a sign for you to keep following us. So I tell you very much goodbye this time. I really hope you can join us another time to tell us more about your experience, further experiences. And I will leave you here thanking you very much, thanking the audience for staying with us for this experience and for the ones that will come. And that's it, man. Thank you very much for your participation. Too bad it's only 5 minutes, but I really enjoy you with us here in this conversation.
My pleasure.
Thanks
Thank you very much.
Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, people.
Bye-bye.